Good afternoon, everyone. James from Junkyard Fox. Thank you so much for joining us. And today is December 1st, meaning we are right smack in the middle of winter. You wouldn't be able to tell from looking because it's so unseasonably hot, but believe it or not, it does get pretty cold down here in the Southwest. In fact, just a couple of days ago, we had some crazy winds, some sleet, all kinds of stuff. So it does get cold. As with always the changing of the seasons, we are adding some layers. Plus, of course, Cuervo and I do test gear, so we are switching our stuff around, testing out new knives, new flashlights, a new Haversack, and all kinds of good stuff. So, thank you for joining me. Let's get started. So as always, folks, we begin from head down to toes, and then we'll talk about my Haversack. Now, some people may argue that something like a hat isn't technically everyday carry. I'm going to go with just everyday carry. The definition of that is I'm carrying it on my head. Not only that, but this helps me when it comes to being outdoors, when it comes to being prepared. So once again, I'm going to go ahead and consider my hat part of my EDC gear. So right now that we are in the colder months, I am rocking my customized Brixton Thorpe 2 hat. I've been asked hundreds of times, guys, where you can purchase this. Guys, it is no longer made, sadly. So it's a discontinued model. I love this hat so much, and I've modified it a good amount. So as you can tell, it has some miles on it. I've been using it for the last 4 years. I did attach a Robibon A1 flashlight right here. It's a little keychain light, but it's USB-C rechargeable, as high as 650 lumens. So it's really great. I'm able to click it on, and if I need my hands free for whatever reason. So I have a little flashlight there. I also have a fire source. I have my Yuko Stormproof Match. You've seen that used many times. That thing is just a little flare, basically. And then I do have the match striker back here. It's kind of a pain to show it, but there you go. Now, normally I do have some tinder quicks in here as well, just dispersed throughout the band in case, I'm having a hard time making fire. I've already used those up. As soon as I get home, I'll go ahead and start placing them on there. Being out here in the American Southwest where there is a lot of sunlight, the hat is still useful to keep that glare out of your face. Say you're morning hunting some quail or rabbits, stuff like that, you're fishing. Helps keep the sun out of your face, and of course, it's going to keep you warm on a cold, windy night, rain, that kind of stuff. So it protects you from the elements. Moving down to my new wool coat, and boy, did I get suckered into this one. So, you know how when you're scrolling on Instagram, eventually Instagram figures out your algorithm and what you're about, what you're into, and they kind of start tailoring ads for what you're about. So, they started tailoring wool coats for me and, rugged outdoors gear and that kind of stuff. And I got suckered into buying this. So this is from a company called Grayers. It's a trucker style jacket made out of wool, but it's just the crappiest thing. It was $140, so I was hesitant to drop that amount of money. I finally did, and that was just a bad decision. It is just the cheapest little made in China wool coat. It's so thin. It's just wonky in terms of the measurements. But what are you going to do? I already spent the money. So on a day like today where it's not really that cold, this will do just fine. Now in the pockets, I do have my minus 33 wool gloves here. You've seen me using these for years. Just helps keep you warm, and I like the fingerless gloves so it provides me dexterity in case I still need to use my hands. I'm cooking, I'm fishing, whatever the case may be. If it's really cold, I will be using these. Okay, so I removed the coat because it's damn hot, so let's go ahead and start talking about the gear. So one of the lamest items that you're going to see, but one of the most important for me, is my notepad and pen. I never leave home without it. This helps me write down ideas, sketches, to-do lists, all kinds of stuff. So I always have to have it. Even when I'm at home, I always have to have this. So it's a must-have for me. If you're a creative-minded person, this really does make a difference, a big difference. So moving down to the belt, where all the gadgets are at. So over here on my right side, of course, I got my keys. Obviously, you guys know what keys are for. Here I have my ThruNite T1 flashlight. I do have a full review on this up here if you want to check it out. Now, this is my favorite flashlight of all time. It's a little older. By flashlight standards, this thing's a dinosaur. It's about 5 years old, but it's still unbeatable in my opinion. There has been some newer flashlights that give it a run for its money, but this one, none of them really come close to beating this one. Honestly, this is still my favorite flashlight, so I recently went back to it. Then, of course, I have in my coin pocket a Bic lighter, just something simple to always have ignition on you. And then back here on the other pocket, I do have my bandana. And this is a Shinerbach bandana. I did go to the Shinerbach distillery over there in by Austin, Texas, in Shiner, Texas, and I bought this, and it's just really cool. And I do like the bright colors too. I don't really have any bright colored bandana, so you guys know a bandana has 1,000 uses, from first aid to just moving pots that when you're cooking and you don't want to burn your hands, to all kinds of stuff. So there you go, have my bandana, a little Shinerbach one. Here in this pocket, of course, my chapstick, another lame item when it comes to EDC, but very important to me, especially during the winter months. And then check out this knife right here. This was a gift from viewer James Hyde. Let me just clean that up. This is a Green River Dadley knife, but it's been customized by viewer James Hyde. He did give it these beautiful scales with green liners. And Green River knives are just a classic, made in America, 1095 high carbon steel. As you can tell, this one's very Kephart-ish. You know, it's got that spear point. It does have these things up here. I'm not entirely certain what these are. I don't believe they're serrations. I think they're probably for scaling fish or something. So, beautiful little knife, nice and simple, very classic. I won't be reviewing this one, of course, but big thank you to James Hyde for giving this to me, and I've been using it the last couple of weeks a lot in the kitchen. Of course, it's one hell of a phenomenal slicer. And then he did make the sheath for me as well. And then last item is going down to my boots. I do have another boot knife, and this one was also made by James Hyde. So this he made back in the summer months. He calls this one Hombre del Desierto, meaning man of the desert. And it's a really nice little blade, a hollow grind, so it's going to be great for skinning, that kind of stuff. So just a backup little knife, not very large, but really beautiful. Check out those scales and the green liners. So once again, big thank you to James Hyde. He actually made a brand new boot knife for our patrons for Christmas. So one lucky patron is going to be winning that. So be sure to check out our Patreon in case you guys are interested. Put that away and bam, you're good to go. Okay, folks, so recently I just got this delivered to me yesterday. This is from a company called Brunt Workwear Boots. And check out these beauties that were sent to me for testing. Now, obviously, these are some big boys. I'm not going to be using these every day, just running errands. But once again, if I'm out winter camping, you know, with snow and ice and all that, these are going to just be very comfortable, very warm. 3-layer waterproofing, slip and oil resistant. So I cannot wait to put these to the test. And they do have, just like cowboy boots, these loops. So I may be adding a boot knife on here. But yeah, so too warm to wear now, but yeah, I think these will be great for winter camping. Now, before we proceed with the Haversack contents, first a quick word from our sponsor, which is ourselves. So right now, guys, from now to December the 4th, all Junkyard Fox and Cuervo Negro merch items are 15% off plus free shipping. So get yourself something really awesome, such as this shirt with the classic Go Outside and Get Your Boots Dirty logo and slogan. If I had to brag a little bit, I would say we have the best catchphrase in the game. Or if you want something a little bit more old school, we do have this classic baseball tee with the classic Junkyard Fox logo. Of course, we have plenty of Cuervo Negro merch as well. Cuervo Negro is rocking this long sleeve, very comfortable shirt. And of course, we also have coffee mugs and stuff like that. So we got the classic Fox logo, the Dirty Boots slogan, the Cuervo Raven. So if you're interested in getting one of these awesome items and help support this channel, link will be down below in our description box for our merch store. Once again, from now, December 1st to December 4th, 15% off plus free shipping. Thank you guys so much for your support. So let's take a look at my Haversack contents. So right now I'm testing out this nutsack bag. I'm kind of new to them. Cuervo has been using this for the last couple of months during the warm months. So we're trying to both test it out so we can have an opinion on it. So far it's really great quality. It's canvas, it's leather. So it's really nice, but I would say it's more of a city slicker type of tool. Like say you're an artist and you have a sketch pad or an iPad, that kind of stuff. Businessman stuff than it is outdoors. I am trying to use it outdoors, but I gotta say that it just really honestly doesn't compare to a Hidden Woodsman or a Tough Possum Gear Haversack, in my opinion. But it is very good looking. So let's go ahead and open this up. You gotta pop this open. There you go. Unzip it. And let's go ahead and talk about the contents in here. So first things first, I have my snake eater. Now I'm trying very hard to not be using my snake eater because I'm testing out other knives, but I just cannot leave home without it. It's my knife design. It is my favorite knife of all time. So, I mean, just having it is a comfort to me, even if I'm not going to use it. So here's my snake eater. I do have a review if you want to check it out up here in the corner, as always. So, made by Wood Steel Knives. I've talked about this knife ad nauseum, so you guys already know where to look up that information. With that being said, let's open this up. Another knife that I am testing, and this is a design by a fellow YouTuber and a friend of mine, John Heffron. So this is the Work Tough Gear Mount Laguna blade. Look at this little tank. I mean, this thing is just, it's small, but look how thick it is. I mean, this thing's just a knife that you're not going to be afraid of when it comes to batoning and prying and that kind of stuff. Just, something that I would never do with something like a snake eater. This one, I wouldn't hesitate. So let me just show you guys the difference in thickness. So I'll tend to use this one for woodworking. I'll tend to use this one for processing game and making dinner and stuff, but this one can do all the rough work around the camp, chores, that kind of stuff. So I do have a review coming pretty soon on this one. And God, I love this little sheath. The little Kydex. Work Tough makes some really awesome Kydex. So review coming pretty soon, the next couple of weeks. Now up here I do have my One Tigress poncho. This is a poncho that doubles as a tarp as well. Now I do got to say this is a little outdated. I am looking for something a little newer, something a little bit more just better designed, I would say. I do believe this is discontinued, so I'm still on the lookout for that. I just haven't really looked into, but I do think Helicon makes a pretty good one. But yeah, in case it's raining or whatever and I'm traversing, this will just help protect me, keep me warm, or at the same time, if I was to get lost out here, whatever the case may be, or an improvised overnighter, this is my tarp. So all I need is a little bit of cordage, some rocks, some sticks, and I got myself a little shelter. This is Howling Dingo's leather gear right here. This is a fire pouch. This is made out of kangaroo leather. Really awesome, very rustic. And like I said, this is my fire pouch. So I have my little tinder quicks. I got some char cloth. I got a little flint and steel kit right here. I think there's more char cloth in here. So yeah, so when I'm trying to go, old school, very rustic, once again, very old school leather pouches and flint and steel kits, this thing is an absolute beauty right here. Now over here I do have this thermal vision lens. If you saw my recent camping trip, you saw that how this records. Looks really awesome. Predator vision, as I like to call it. And I think this would be very useful for stealth camping at night, keeping an eye out for intruders, or even camping out in the woods and you got to keep an eye out for black bears or something, something that gets into your campsite. This is really great. Also for like early morning hunting, like say you're going duck hunting or quail hunting and you want to get out there right before the sun rises. So when it's still dark, this will help you find, the heat source, when they're roosting. So that's really cool. I do have a review on this coming probably next week. Here's my Yuko Sprout lantern. I just reviewed this last week if you want to check it out. It is USB-C rechargeable, but at the same time it can use AAA batteries. So I like that versatility. It has a little magnetic clip here, so you can just leave this hanging in your tarp or your tent and take this, and then if you need to come back, put it on. Really awesome. So once again, a full review on this if you want to check out all the intricate details on that. But like I said, if I had to set up a shelter, a tarp, I do have a little lantern, so I don't have to be using my flashlights. Of course, I got my canteen in case I need to cook anything. I do have my iPhone headphones, just in case I'm listening to music when I'm at work or whatever. The lid for the canteen. Now there's two pockets over here. So let's show this side. So one, I have a ferro rod, a large ferro rod. This comes with this leather sheath that I had made years ago. I had made by Wolf Customs. And so this was like around my neck. This was like a little necklace, and I always had a large ferro rod until eventually I just kind of stopped doing that because it was really heavy. I really didn't need to do that. So just place this away in your haversack. Of course, a secondary source of fire. I have this clipper lighter, make it much easier than a flint and steel or a ferro rod. And then I am testing out this flashlight by ThruNite, the ThruNite thrower. So this one does double as a headlamp as well. So I didn't bring the headlamp part, but other than that, this is just really nice. So I still got a couple of months of testing for it before I'm comfortable reviewing it. So far, ThruNite makes some pretty good products, very affordable. Then over here in this second pouch, I do have my Yuko Titanium Spork. I've just reviewed this last week as well. So, it's always good to have an eating utensil for whatever reason, whether you're bringing out, you're going to be eating ramen out here or whatever the case may be. Never hurts to have a utensil, especially one that's metal, titanium. And then here is a new Leatherman. Well, it's not new, but it's new to me. This is the Leatherman Super Tool 300. And this one has a special story. At least for me, it does. So this belonged to my brother, who sadly is no longer with us. He did pass away a few years ago. And this was his. He used this for his job. Now, it makes it special because sadly, as we became adults, we kind of drifted apart, and it wasn't on purpose or anything. It just, that life happens, and sadly I never got to hang out with him the last couple of years or something like that. So it's really heartbreaking, but I'm lucky enough that I was given this. This is one of his items. Now, even outside of that sentimentality, you guys know that Leatherman makes outstanding products, particularly the Super Tool 300. This is like their Lamborghini, guys. I mean, it has replaceable wire cutters. It has the blade. I do believe they do upgrade it to 154 cm as opposed to the 420 HC. I could be mistaken. In case I'm wrong, I'll annotate below. I'll correct that. Of course, it is a locking blade. It has a saw there, help kind of file away your axe, kind of fix any chips or anything like that, any dings. On all, some flathead screwdrivers, a serrated blade, a saw, Phillips screwdriver, can opener, bottle opener, so all that good stuff. So I just received this maybe about a month ago at most, so I still have a lot of testing to do with it. It is a little big from normally. Normally I like a smaller multi-tool, but of course I understand that this one's kind of like the do-it-all kind of multi-tool. So I'm going to be testing this out. I will have a review on it. I'm going to say in about 6 to 7 months. So really awesome multi-tool. And since it is the winter months, I don't mind carrying a little bit of extra weight. So yeah, this thing's going to be riding in the Haversack. So another cutting tool right there. And then there's another zipper back here. I'm not sure if I have anything on it. Oh yeah, I have a bandana, secondary bandana, as you guys know. 1,000 uses for a bandana. And then there is another little zipper compartment right here. I do believe I have some hot hands and some cordage. Yep. So my cordage, in case I need to set up a shelter, right? And if it's a really cold night, now that we're in the winter months, some hot hands make a big difference. Putting these in your feet when you're sleeping, something like that, it'll help keep you warm. So that's the contents of the nutsack bag. I hate the name, by the way. I just think it's a very third grade level, but I do got to say that it is a very quality haversack, very thick, very tough, very robust. My only issue so far is just all this unzipping. It takes up a lot of time, where I'm kind of used to just being able to access my stuff right away without even having to open the main compartment. That's my one main critique about this bag. And last but not least, just a couple of items that I always forget to mention is one, I always have my Rothko water canteen that I always have with me anytime I leave home. So you always have hydration, whether you're running errands or you're out camping, whatever. And it just, it's not as wasteful as buying water bottles, and you're not a sucker spending $2.50 at the gas station for water when you could just refill at home. Other than that, of course, I do have my leather wallet. This was made by 610 Leather. Really nice, very simplistic, but I like it. I've been using it for about 2 years. Really great stuff. Thank you so much, James Howard, for making this for me. I love it to this day. Still rocking it. And then last thing is, of course, my iPhone. Of course, the phone is the most important everyday carry item, and we're using it to film, so you can't see it. It's an iPhone 11. I'm hoping to upgrade to the iPhone 14 in the next couple of months. Not that I'm trying to be a yuppie, but I think if the camera's stronger and we can get a crisper image, what a great way to bring 2023, you know, with Junkyard Fox videos and just kind of bring up the production a little bit. So I might be upgrading by the next time you see a springtime EDC update. That's about it for me, folks. So thank you for watching. I'll have the links down below if you're interested in purchasing any of these items. So there's our Amazon store if you want to purchase them. Also the links to any of these items that we've already reviewed. A lot of these have already been reviewed, like the Snake Eater knife, the ThruNite T1 flashlight, a lot of the Yuko products. And last but not least, once again, for the next couple of days to December 4th, all our items from our merch store are 15% off with free shipping. So thank you for watching. We'll see you guys next week. Now.